Welcome to
EPLACE.
the space for
General talking,
about all things entertaining.
My name is...
You've forgotten your name?
I know.
It's Big H.
My name is H, and we have here today with me Big D. How are you, Big D?
Or DGB.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
For me, you're gonna be Big D until the day you die, yeah?
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. So.
And today we are missing our our guest star. Anna is not here with us.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I'm gonna be guessing the song of the week today.
Wow, it's gonna be awesome.
So-
Revenge is so sweet.
So yeah, Big H is gonna choose a song, and then I'm gonna try and guess it. I reckon I'm gonna be a little bit better at this though.
No, you're not.
So long as you're not picking something just totally out of left field, you know. It's got to be something recognized.
It's gonna be honestly something that I like.
Yeah.
When I was a little bit younger than you at the moment, when I was in college, yeah.
Okay. We'll see what that's all about.
Yep.
And also, this episode we've got part 3 of the Star Wars special.
I have a comment on that one after our part 2, and I completely trashed Solo almost, yeah.
Well, no,
I went back and I rewatched the movie, and okay, if you think to yourself that guy is not Harrison Ford, so enjoy the movie. You go enjoy the movie. So rewatch it again, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of how I approached the film anyway. I know that we weren't going to get Harrison Ford, and it was going to be someone different, and yeah, that's why I enjoyed it. Really, I just put Harrison Ford in the back of my mind, and it's a fun adventure film for sure.
Yes, it is.
I wouldn't mind a sequel, or at least a spin-off with Lando, Donald Glover playing Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, he's probably the best acted. Although they did something really weird with his character and made him pansexual with the robot, which, I mean...
Was it?
Yeah,
you can like something without
this
having sexual desires for it, yeah. I like Jeff, and I don't have sexual desires for Jeff.
No, I know, but the robot did hint at that.
The robot was a psycho.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a little weird, but...
No, definitely the robot had feelings. Can we say feelings? Because there's a robot actually feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the robot said something like that. You don't know if it was reciprocal or not.
And we have that kind of thing today anyway. You know, people with their own AI robot, you know...
Don't dig into that hole.
Well, you know, it's everybody's preference. You know, everybody's different at the end of the day, so, you know, whatever.
Okay, so...
What Star Wars episodes are we doing today? If it's part 3, we're doing Rogue One and episode 4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be
Two
interesting.
great movies.
2 of my most favorite Star Wars films right there.
On the Star Wars thing as well, we had The Mandalorian that started a few weeks ago.
Yes, we did. Disney Plus has launched in America, and we are actually going to get it at the end of April, which I can't wait for.
Yeah.
Yeah. In other news, though, the Fallen Order, the new Star Wars game, has been released. Yeah, starring the guy that plays Jerome in Gotham. Cameron Domahan.
Oh, okay.
Domahan? Yeah, he plays and it's been getting rave reviews. Like, it's one of the best Star Wars games released in a long while.
I'm not so into the games, as you know, but yeah.
Yeah, but even so, it's an interesting thing. I'm interested about getting it, and also Red Dead Redemption 2 is released on PC now, and yeah, there's some good games coming out in the next couple of months. And
okay, so you talk about games, I will talk about other series that just pop up.
Yeah.
A nice series that is just pop up as well is C, with Jason Momoa.
On Apple TV
Apple
Plus.
TV, yeah. And what was the other one?
The Morning Show, probably? With Jennifer Aniston and...
Yeah, no, Anna wants to see that one, but...
I don't know.
I'm
if
afraid it's gonna become like Friends stuff here at home because we already rewatched Friends like 10 times.
Me, I've seen it probably 100 times over and it's the only. It's the only show that I can watch over and over again and still
It's
laugh
a
at
show
it.
is coming out from Netflix, but
There's a
I
new
don't-
series coming out of what series
Friends.
is that? But
Friends is coming out of Netflix.
it's leaving Netflix here, yeah, but not anytime soon, because obviously the rights are owned by Warner Brothers, and they're going to be releasing their HBO Max, but not in the UK until maybe later on next year. But that HBO Max is actually the streaming service that I'm most excited for because there's just so much content that's going to be on there, more than Disney Plus, more than Netflix. I mean, the only other streaming service that could compete with that maybe is the Peacock one from Universal NBC, because they're another company that has just so many properties, so many titles under their name that it's just going to be worth the price to pay.
Yeah, and another TV show that has a couple of weeks now is Dark Matters.
His Dark Materials.
Materials, sorry.
Yes.
Materials.
I am loving it. I've nearly finished the first book, The Northern Lights, or it's called The Golden Compass in America. And the book it's incredible. It feels like I'm reading, something just as magical as Harry Potter. But
Yeah.
it's obviously completely different, but
The movie they did with a few years
with Daniel
ago.
Craig. I've not personally seen it.
Yeah, they try to do, for what I see from the series,
Yeah.
they try to do what is going to be probably the first series, the
Yeah.
first season in one movie that took like 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah, and
So
there's
it's to
16
remind-
episodes in this season.
13.
No, I've heard 16.
16.
Yeah.
So 16 at 1 hour roughly each one of them is 16 hours, and they condensate that in the movie in about 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when people talk about, it's quite a lot to talk about. That's why it was a little bit rushed. I understand the frustration of people. Yeah.
I think there are books outside of this trilogy because his Dark Materials trilogy, is a trilogy. It's got 3 books, but I think there are a few other books outside of that sort of go into other stuff that I can't really say because it's kind of spoilers. But Lyra's journey is in these 3 books, and I'm excited to see how this season wraps up. But so far, so good with the 2 episodes that I've seen so far.
But I never read the books, so I just watched the movie and now start watching the TV show. And I loved the theory of the multiverse on this one as well.
Well, that
Doesn't look like
is
that
actually the spoiler that I wasn't going to say.
Okay.
But it's not really a spoiler because it's kind of already it's already shown in the 2nd episode. So
That's why I was talking about it.
and even in the
first episode, they talk a little bit about that, yeah.
well, yeah, I know it's really weird because in the book it's only hinted at. Like I haven't even finished the first book, and they haven't even gone to another world. The only mention in the book is the city scene in the picture at the college right at the beginning of the first episode, or in the book that's like the first chapter, and that's the only mention of another world, a parallel universe. But yeah, with the show, we even get hints of that in the opening titles, where we see like a city, and then there's a city above it, and then it comes out, and it's like his Dark Materials, the logo. It's like made up from all the.
I need to start paying more attention to the open credits.
Yeah, when you see it, you'll see what I mean, because you'll see the universe that we're in with the Led Zeppelin. Mm-hmm. Or that Lyra's in, sorry, with the
Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin.
The Zeppelins? Just Zeppelins?
Yeah, the Zeppelin's in the air.
Yep.
And then if you look above that, there's an identical city, but with aeroplanes flying.
Which is strange.
Which is our universe.
Which is strange. On the first episode, do you remember the Great Flood?
Pardon?
The Great Flood. In the first episode, yeah.
The Great Flood?
Yes.
They talk about that?
No, they show it. Because when...
Oh, yes, right at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's from another book that's not in this one.
Which is strange, because I was watching at night, so probably I was off sleeping, yeah.
Yeah.
But I clearly saw an helicopter.
Yes, there was.
Yeah. And suddenly it looks like the technology, instead of going forward, went backwards.
No, it went... No. It
Because
still went
the
forward.
Zeppelins are before the helicopter, yeah?
I believe there were Zeppelins back then anyway. Because it's only a 10-year difference, because obviously Lyra's a baby when Lord Asriel was giving it to the school for Scholastic Sanctuary. And then, yeah, it's only like 10 years later, because she's, I think, only about 11 or 12. No, 11 in the book. Maybe it's a little bit different in the show, but whatever.
Okay. So, Song of the Week.
Yes, let's
But
go
they
on to
give
Song of the
you
Week then.
These
Let's put on
headphones.
these headphones.
As I said previously, this is one of the musics that I was listening in college. Wait just a minute. Big D. Now should be the music.
Right. It's got a good guitar.
Mm-hmm.
God, blimey. Oh, wow. No,
I told you I'm a total metal head, bro.
I mean, I like it.
Of course you do. There's nothing not to like about this music.
I actually have no idea who this is. I mean, this must be an artist that I've never listened to before.
Okay, so the music is the group is Queens of the Stone Age.
Who, sorry?
Queens of Stone Age.
Queens of Stone Age.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I've never listened to them though.
And the music is the thirds and sevens. Sorry, threes and sevens.
Yeah, I'm digging it. That's a good song.
I know.
Ah, man.
That strangely helped me to relax when I was at college, because it's not a relaxing music. Yeah, it's a pumped one.
Yeah.
It helped me to relax when I was studying.
That was it.
Yeah.
Ah, never mind. Okay, I thought I was gonna be better at that, but
You are not as good as you think, bro.
no, I've not listened to every song, I guess. But if you had a look at my library, you'd know that I have a very diverse taste in music. But
Yeah, this group was, to be fair, more in the late 90s, beginning of the 2000s.
yeah, that's not an era that I know
Yeah,
very
they
well.
disappear a little bit in the last few years, yeah.
I mean, 80s and 70s is more my kind of thing. Like if I'm going back, and then kind of the noughties is where I grew up, and then the tensies.
That's when you actually start paying attention, yeah.
Yeah,
Luckily for me, because I had metal-headed ankles as well. Every time I was going to my grandmother's house,
yeah.
especially on Saturday mornings, they were listening to Nirvana and Queen and Scorpions and Metallica and stuff like that, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so since I was 4 or 5,
Yeah.
I was raised with that kind of music. That's why I became to like it as well, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm the
It's one
same.
of
I
the-
love rock.
It's
All
one of
kinds
my
rock.
more dearest memories when I was a kid, going to my grandmother's house on Saturday morning, because we lived together. In Portugal, it's very common, like one street belongs to one family, almost, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to my grandmother's house in Saturday mornings, because my grandmother had a special coffee that she bought, and we loved that coffee. And she was baking bread at home as well.
Oh, nice.
Oh, and my
Really homely.
uncles will be listening that kind of music, yeah. And then in the afternoon, they will start. My aunts will start cleaning the house. So we switched from AC/DC to Brazilian folk music like this, yeah.
As if.
Yeah, it was a little bit weird.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So,
Okay,
that's interesting.
moving forward and getting out of memory lane, we are here to talk about Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. So, yeah, the
Sorry.
first Star Wars film we're going to talk about today is
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Yeah. Jen Erso.
Oh,
And this film fixes a huge plot in episode 4.
Which one? Episode 4 was perfect.
Why was there a ventilation hole that would destroy
good
the
point.
entire space station?
It is a kind of a huge plot hole that I forgot, yeah.
Literally a plot hole.
Dun dun dun!
No pun intended, of course.
No. So, overall, for me, it was a brilliant movie, yeah?
It was. It has its flaws. I think that it ends on a kind of
Downhill.
somber note.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It ends on an incredible note.
You forgot about Darth Vader, yeah?
Yeah, that scene is hands down the best Darth Vader scene in Star Wars history. I know that's a pretty big...
Watching now 40 years after, yeah? Did you have a secret wish as I have that should be the opening scene for A New Hope?
You wish that was the opening scene for A New Hope?
Because I was watching The
Yeah.
New Hope the other day with Anna because she never saw the Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It's very disappointing.
She watched episode 4? No, she I thought she'd seen Rogue One anyway.
Rogue One, yeah, but she never saw any of the first Star Wars, yeah. So I was watching with episode 1 and episode 4, two things that I noticed on that movie, and I will tell you in the when we start talking about this movie, yeah, because it's gonna be later, yeah. But yeah,
another thing I actually really liked about Rogue One was K2SO though, the robot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the robot. What was the name of the android?
Yeah, K2SO. He was voiced by Alan Tudyk as well, an absolute legend in Firefly, and also in Doom Patrol as Mr. Nobody. He's and he voices Joker in the upcoming animated Harley Quinn show, which looks incredible. Loads of like swearing and violence, and it looks an absolute blast. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, about that movie, it was a little bit of a, not a downer, because everyone knew that they were going to die at the end, yeah? Because there is a part on episode 4 where they say that a lot of lives were lost to recover those plans and blah, 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 blah.
Yes,
blah, blah.
yes.
So I was kind of waiting for them to die, but I was kind of hoping from them not to die as well, yeah?
Well, apparently we might get a prequel for these characters, or at least specifically Jyn Erso, so who knows?
I would like to see the dynamic duo.
Dynamic.
The guys of the Force, the priests of the Force. The Force
Oh,
priests.
yeah. Yeah, they were cool.
I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me.
Because they weren't really Jedis, but they were...
They were priests of the Jedi religion?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it, yeah?
Something
So
like
they
that.
were guardians, more guardians of the temple than something else, yeah?
Oh, that also reminds me of the... when they first used the weapon on the Death Star. That is incredible as well, when it like blows up that part of the planet
Oh, yeah.
and the city.
They toned up a little bit down, yeah?
Yeah, and also, I mean, as far as the CGI Grand Moff Tarkin goes and the CGI Leia, yes, you can see it's CGI, but just wow, in terms of how far CGI has come to bring back somebody
that is
that's
dead
dead
for
and
30 years almost, yeah?
Yeah, and to have him look, reasonably good looking, or
I'll be honest with
believable.
you, I completely forgot that the guy was dead. So I truly believe it was actually him on the screen.
They were thinking about doing it for Leia in episode 9, but I don't think that would. No,
It's too much.
something like that. What they're doing,
He's okay
though,
in two or three small scenes is where he shows up, yeah?
yeah,
So it's like 2 minutes each scene or something like that.
and it's only really in there for continuity purposes rather than anything substantial for the film.
Better not mess up with... leave him be. Rest his soul, yeah?
Although I can't remember the name of the other guy that's in charge of the creation of the Death Star. I thought he played a compelling villain, and
Yeah, it was. It was kind of funny as well.
not really a villain, just a compelling character
It
actually.
was a. Can we say that the Empire was truly villainous? Their
Not
leader was.
really, because
Their leader definitely was a villain,
Sidious
yeah.
was, because he had insidious.
As it said in the name, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Damn, that
the
was
clues in the name.
slap in the face,
He
yeah.
had insidious intentions.
Yeah.
But the Empire as a whole was just a political movement,
Yeah.
really. And yeah, you can't say that everybody part of the Empire was bad, you know. It was,
Okay, you cannot say
but
that.
this is politics.
the
Let's not get into
soldiers-
politics,
It's
especially
the
Star
same
Wars
thing
politics.
as saying that soldiers nowadays that go to Iran are all bad. No, they are just following orders. Wait, do you reckon that? Do you know that sentence that says that the villain of my story is the hero of his own?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit like that. Yeah, we are just seeing stuff from the rebels and the Republic point of view. We never went to the Empire point of view.
Well, there was an interesting point made by somebody on the internet that the resistance are basically terrorists.
Yes, yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
they bomb stuff and they try to disturb the order that you can say is the shitty order. Yeah, and it is. I'm completely against everything that is absolutist. So one person in charge and everyone has to bow their heads. I'm against that. Yeah.
And it comes down to revolution, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's an interesting way to think of it, for sure. And especially when they destroyed the first Death Star and all of those people that were on the Death Star. Okay, maybe the first one was full of the Empire,
Elite.
the Empire elite. They were maybe all bad,
But there are
the
also
second one-
janitors and cooks and nurses and
Well, yeah.
doctors and
all those people that needed a job.
yeah, they were just doing their
Well,
job.
in the Death Star 2, what about all the construction workers actually just building it? The amount of lives.
Probably they were droids, but yeah, I get what you mean.
That's a good point, actually. But then droids in the Star Wars universe are
They are
almost like
sentient.
their own characters, anyway.
They are sentient.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, at least is what L whatever on Solo says, yeah? We are sentient beings.
yeah.
See,
It's an
that's-
interesting way of thinking about it, for sure. See, Star Wars, you know, people
Talk,
that-
never get to a...
that aren't really into it just sort of see it as just, it's just another, you know, stupid sci-fi thing. But when you start looking at things, it is a lot deeper. You know, it's like all art. At the end of the day, you can look at something from one way or the other.
Okay, let's
but-
start giving scores.
Yeah. Okay then.
Writing.
The writing, I think, is a solid job. I
For
can't
a
think of.
story that we know how it's going to end.
Well, yes and no. We get an inkling of what's going to come.
develop my thought. Let me develop my thought, yeah?
Okay.
My way of thinking, yeah? For a story that you know how it's going to end,
Yeah.
yeah? Because it's
of.
going to end with the plans in the rebellion's hands, yeah?
That's true.
They still managed to do a movie that was compelling and put you on the edge of the seat every single scene.
It was. And K2SO's sacrifice, I thought, because he gets destroyed, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So the plans get retrieved. Was incredibly heartfelt as well. And the dialogue didn't feel
and the
hammy or
goodbye
anything.
between the android and the guy. And
Yeah.
he was on the control panel and he said goodbye to everyone.
He did, yeah.
And they made us cry over a robot again.
I mean, the story really comes from the premise, and the premise itself is just an interesting thing to do. I mean, this is the first live-action Star Wars film that is outside of the trilogies. and I'm so glad that Disney made this film because it's one of my favorite Star Wars films.
Okay.
Not
So-
not the best, but
Writing. Are you
Yeah.
gonna give them a 9?
9. Okay,
Yeah.
I was thinking 7 or 8 because I don't think it's maybe quite up there, but I'm gonna give it an 8 because I think it's pretty solid.
Okay. Themes and tone.
Yeah. Did the themes work with the tone? Well, the themes are under oppression
Mm-hmm.
and trying to fight back, trying to resist against the Empire, and I think that they did a pretty good job at being, dark and gritty, on the streets.
Sad and
Of-
hopeful at the same time.
And hopeful, yeah. Because at the end of the day, they were teaming together to be heroes, and they were heroes of the story, and they.
Do you think
They were
that George
successful.
Lucas is actually a genius and no one gives him credit?
Hmm?
Do you think that George Lucas is actually a genius and no one gives him credit?
Loads of people give him credit.
Again, I need to explain this, yeah? So the movie ends up with most of the rebellion crushed and defeated, most of the aircrafts and stuff like that. And if they wouldn't able to give the plans of the Death Star, you could say that the rebellion will finish in the next 2 weeks at maximum.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
And
good point.
by the simple fact of someone actually sacrifice themselves.
Because the Empire never actually got to use the Death Star outside of destroying Alderaan.
Yeah.
So,
And by someone sacrificing themselves to give the plans to the rebellion, they actually give a new hope to the rebellion.
I see what you did there. Yeah, good one. Yeah. Yeah, George Lucas is a genius. I mean, just to come up with all of this crazy religion and political.
Let's say I wouldn't like to
Story.
dive on his brain. It's gonna be a very
Well,
weird place.
I'm someone that's trying to do the same. I've got stories where I've written the history of planets because it's a similar kind of thing where it's Star Wars, but
And
it's not. It's my
And it's
own
not just about
universe.
aliens that speak, and it's also the background aliens, the alien fauna and flora, because you saw a lot of wild animals and flowers and trees and stuff like that in the.
And what aliens do they eat, or what animals do they eat, and what's food and what isn't, and
Yeah,
he goes into
details.
crazy amount of depth, and I think
Everyone
the fans
says
also
that
helped.
George R.R. Martin is going to the detail. I think that George Lucas wins by far.
Well, I think there is a writer that you're forgetting that is better than all of these and did it way
Tolkien?
before anyone
Tolkien?
else. Tolkien, yes.
Uh,
He
Themes,
was-
and I didn't
He,
forget.
he created his own language.
I
for
know.
Goodness. You know.
Right. They create their own language as well on.
Well, I mean, he
On
was
Star
one of the
Wars.
first to do that. I mean,
Was I the only one surprised when Solo started talking? What is the name?
a Wookiee.
Wookiee?
Yeah. we didn't even mention that when we were talking about Solo. That's great. That was so cool. I love that scene.
What did he say? He's saying that he wants to go to the toilet.
It's like, well, I can't. Yeah, when he
It
tells
wasn't
him his
that he
name,
said on the movie, yeah, but
when
yeah.
he says that, well, I'm not
Oh.
gonna say that every time.
Chewbacca. I will not say that every time.
Chewie, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay, so themes and tones. I give it an 8.
Yeah, I would say that the themes work well with the tone, really well. As far I would go 9. So I think we're neck and neck here. Direction and pace.
Was a very well paced one, yeah.
But at the beginning, it was a little bit disjointed, I thought, which also comes into editing a little bit later when we talk about it. But I thought that we were jumping from one place to the other because it begins with Jyn Erso's story, but then they had to introduce all the other characters, and I felt like it was just sort of, it was a little bit jarring, because obviously we didn't know any of these characters, and it just sort of lacked a little bit of focus at the beginning, but again, they had to do the job. It felt like the beginning of the film was just there because it had to be there.
They need to present the characters, but they didn't have much time to lose developing the characters as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was just one movie. It wasn't a trilogy.
that's it. Yeah, and they had to introduce all the characters and wrap it up by the end, and they did a good job. As far as the action and the direction, I think that it was like bang on, easily an 8 or 9. I just thought like maybe the pace was sort of hit and miss. Like 1 minute we were having a really heartfelt moment between Jin Erso and her father in the as a projection, and then the next we're straight into the action, and I don't know, it just felt a little bit disjointed here and
I
there.
see the pace as the.
But I think I'd still give it an
For me,
8.
pace is the well you go through the movie. Yeah, even if the movie looks like he has 2 hours, it doesn't feel like 2 hours at all. It looks to be fast.
You thought it was okay. I mean, I can, yeah.
There was no moments of exposition that didn't need to happen, to be honest.
What would you give your direction and pace?
8.
So, an 8?
Yep. You?
Okay, same as me.
Okay.
Cool. Cinematography,
Best
lighting,
part of the movie.
color palette. Yeah.
I will give it a 9.
The color palette was kind of dingy at times. What were you gonna give it? Sorry.
9.
You're gonna give it a 9. Okay. I'm gonna give it an 8 because it's not always colourful, but
It's a green movie.
the lighting I felt matched the tone, matched, it maybe I could give it a 10 because it does feel very realistic, like it's shot from a very realistic standpoint.
I forgot that we can give 10s.
But
Oh, I forget that we can give 10s.
we can give 10s. I would maybe give the cinematography a 10, but I'm not going to be that generous and give it a 9, just personally.
Maybe I just copied my scores, yeah?
So far,
Okay,
yeah,
so-
yeah.
Editing, transition between scenes. As I said, at the beginning it was a little bit jumpy, yeah? We
Yeah.
are going from one planet to the other, like,
Yeah. It
What
was
does that
a,
mean?
sort of a little bit over there. But once they came together, I felt like the editing was a little bit more natural.
yes.
And very snappy, especially by the end, because the final act with all the action going
It was
on,
all in the same place, in the same beach, in the same complex.
except for up in space,
Yeah, but
'Cause
it
that
was,
was-
on top of them, so it was kind of the same place.
and
as
that
well.
was probably the best part of the film. That,
They're trying to get inside the atmosphere, yeah?
yeah,
That was
I'd give the
and using
editing
the hammer.
a 7.
I was going to give the same, but
Really? Well, we're on the same wavelength. Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the editing was, it was standard. It was good, above average for sure.
On that scene, the scene that I liked most in the space was when they used the hammer head ships
Yeah.
to blast with the thing that was controlling the field force.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was a clever use of whatever you had at your disposal to try to breach the defenses. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well
yeah,
done.
it was.
acting.
Yeah. The acting. Now, I think this is actually the weakest part.
Do you?
Yeah. I think that the robot, K2SO, had the most heartfelt part in the whole story, and he was a bloody robot, Yeah, the most emotional scene. He is a standout performance in that film.
But robots in Star Wars are not only robots. Yeah.
No, I know.
You can clearly see or imagine what R2D2 is thinking and feeling just by a dozen of bleeps that he does, yeah? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Even C3PO.
Even BB-8,
has
that is basically 2.5 balls rolling on the floor. You can clearly see that when he is happy or excited or sad or scared or...
But even Jin Erso's scene with her father as the projection, that was emotional, and I really felt the emotion come. out of her, but as soon as that scene was done, it was just back to normal.
What about the ending?
The ending, yeah, that was good, but I don't know. I just don't think.
Okay.
I think it could have been a little bit more.
Well,
They could have done a little bit more with the acting.
Yeah, I'm gonna give an 8.
Personally, okay, fair enough. Let's see. I'm not copying your scores all the time.
I know. Production, costumes, sets, and props.
Ooh.
This is a Star Wars, so 9.
Okay, I'm giving an 8 for sure because it is solid, and I think really it's nearly flawless actually.
That's why I'm giving a 9.
Maybe.
Okay.
But I maybe is it flawless? Is it?
In my account, it is.
Yeah, you're right. Why am I giving it an 8? It should be a 10. I'm gonna give it a 10.
Because
I'm giving it a 10. I'm giving the production a 10 because it's one of the best things about this film.
Plot twist.
It is. It is because costumes, the set, the props, everything is on point.
Mm-hmm.
The next part though, SFX and VFX,
Yeah.
that's where I would give it a 9 because they are nearly groundbreaking with the CGI and the Grand Moff Tarkin and Leia at the end, but you can still see it's CGI.
Yeah.
It's not
I
quite
give
there.
it a 8 because after reviewing the movie like 3 times, it starts freaking me out a little bit, to be honest.
Really? Because the way he moves isn't
Yes,
quite
and
natural.
the face. It looks like the face is floating in the air, yeah?
Yeah. I think it looks better on a smaller screen. When you... Because I went to see it in the cinema, you could see it even more.
Mm-hmm.
It was more in your face with the CGI, but watching it on a smaller screen or your TV, it looks much, much better. But yeah, just the motion and it looks... Even though he's got wrinkles,
Yeah,
the skin looks really
too shiny.
shiny. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
Remembers me the first movies from the Hulk, yeah? In the first 2 movies,
yeah,
where he was literally a green shiny monkey,
yeah.
almost. Yeah, it reminds me of... Okay,
It was
we
kinda
are
like
bashing on it.
It was better than that though. It was
It was.
there was more detail for sure because like you could even see like the pores and the skin in this one.
Probably a little bit too much.
Maybe.
Okay,
I
I
mean,
give it a 8, you give it a 9, yeah?
In terms of effort, it deserves a 10 because they probably put so much money into this and so much effort into this. But even when you do put in so much effort, sometimes it doesn't quite work. And to really pull off a full-on CGI person, it takes a lot.
Even the voice, yeah?
The voice, yeah. Who did?
I
the
don't know
voice?
who's dubbing it.
Maybe they.
They use some kind of filters or something like that.
Maybe, but they did a good job in that respect,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. And I think that comes under production, really. I mean, actually, yeah. We don't normally talk about sound very much, like Foley and voice sound, because normally it's just standard.
Yeah, because usually the person that is talking is the person that is CGI, yeah? On
Yeah.
that case, unfortunately, it wasn't possible.
Mm. The soundtrack
Soundtrack is awesome.
is average for me because it's not John Williams.
Okay.
It's not John Williams.
It's awesome, but I'm not going to give it a maximum score because it's not the maximum score yet.
I'd give it the same as acting and give it a 6 because it
gonna
does
give it a
above
7.
average job. Like, it is good. It's just not. It's not John Williams level. You know.
Okay, intentions. Why was this film made? I think it was just a big cover-up for the massive plot hole that was why there is a hole.
Well, yeah, that reason, and also that Disney wanted a film that was outside of the trilogy.
Check if it works.
Yeah, to see if they can make films like that,
Yeah.
and they pulled it off.
Yep.
And hopefully we're going to
Just
get more
don't
films
use-
like that in the future.
Just don't use younger younger versions of the well-known characters. Yeah, so please don't give us origin story for Princess Leia with someone else that is not.
Well, why not? If
Our
if
way.
it's an interesting story, you know, if
gonna
there's an
suffer-
interesting story, I'm game for it.
It's gonna suffer the same backlash that Solo did. Yeah.
Yeah, but Solo's backlash was more to do with Last Jedi than the actual film. Because if people actually gave that film a chance, they would see that it was actually half decent.
No, I said I went back and I rewatched the movie and I had fun with the movie,
Yeah.
but it's not my favorite Star Wars. It's not even on the top 5.
What? Solo.
Solo, yeah.
Yeah, it's not in my top 5, but there are only 10. There are only 10 films anyway.
Okay, it's not on my top 6 or 7. It's on my 3 on the bottom, yeah?
What? It's worse than episode 1, 2, and 8?
I like episode 1. I like it. I don't like episodes 8 so much.
Okay.
If I had to put that into a scale, it will be episode 8.
Okay, just say the bottom
Okay.
3 because we are actually going to do a full-on
Episode
list
8.
after episode 9 comes out.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
And then Solo.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's just a teaser of Big
What is
H's
coming? Wow.
Star Wars list because we are going to rank all 11 Star Wars films after we've seen episode 9 and we've reviewed it.
We promised that with a cross in our chest.
Yeah. Which, by the way, episode 9 is going to be in episode 9 and that episode is going to be released in 2020. So we've only got
A few more weeks.
3 more episodes, which is including this episode for this year.
Okay.
So we're going to wrap up the Star Wars special
Okay.
before the end of the year.
Okay, so intentions. How can you score to intentions?
Well, how well did they make the film for that intention? Did they... was it good enough?
I would
Did
give
they explain the plot hole enough? Was it interesting enough?
Yeah, I will give it an 80 because it was, as I said, it was. I know how the story was going to end, but it put me on the edge of the seat for the entire of the movie. Yeah,
Plus also the intentional audience.
that was both generations of Star Wars viewers.
And did it work for both generations?
Yes, it did.
Exactly. And that's why I'm giving it a 10.
Well done.
In terms of intentions,
Revenge.
they managed to pull off what they were intending.
Okay.
And it worked so well. It's awesome.
Personal enjoyability.
Yeah. Now, personal enjoyability, I didn't love everything about this film, but I thought it was pretty darn strong. So, I'm giving it an 8.
I give it a 9.
You're giving it a 9. Okay, even more than me. That's cool. So, yeah, that wraps up the scores.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to
To the maths.
do the maths.
I did not gonna believe this
No, what?
because it's another tie.
Another time? What, bang on?
Yes,
Okay. The only time we've done this was...
and Joker.
No, even... Was it?
Yep.
104.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So what, we both got 90?
90. Yeah.
But I gave, I guess, a few 10s and a few
And I gave-
6s, and
yeah.
yours was a little bit more.
Mine was a little bit more consistent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's me. I'm consistent.
and I am not,
Of
apparently.
course.
So 90 out of 110.
Well done.
Yeah,
Well done, Rogue One.
Rogue One is a solid film.
You are one of our favorites.